on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and flint. He's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack. Building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrive back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground. Each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Okay, I think we finally have sound. Everyone says we have sound, right? I had to restart it twice, and I had to restart my phone as well. I'm tempted to get one of those pieces of software that allow you to control the live stream a little bit better, but I would have to use my computer, and that puts a whole other layer on top of trying to do these live streams. I'm not going to use my computer. No. So let's see. Who do we have? Who do we have in the chat? I saw a bunch of guys. Where am I? Let's see. Keith is here. Bren was here a couple times in the last attempts. Frodo Joe Bush is here. Mike's here. Dawkinstein. Where's Bren? Where's Brendan? Let's see. Mr. Jim is here. Should I do another one of those glass bottle bottoms for you? Said Mike Mason. Who are you asking? Asking Mr. Jim? Let's see. Keith says, what a good way to end a hard worked week. Enjoy some time with like-minded folks and listening to Danny's song. Yes, yes. Jeremy's here. Who else? Gary's here. TJ and Soul. Mac Bales. Aging. I'm here. Uncle Mike Bob. Good evening, all. Ryan's here. Infinite Loop. Yes, yes. It's easy for me to check the chat with another phone because the way I have my phone set up to film the video, it's right in my face. I can't see anything except the phone. I mean, yeah, that doesn't make much sense. I can't see the chat. It's too close. Let's see. I've been using natural tools. I'm going to break into some chert from Harper, Texas, right in the middle of chert country. Yeah, it's between Kerrville and what's the other town? Fredericksburg? That's where all the flint is. That's where all the flint and chert is. Anyway, I'm going to try to break into this and see. And I got a bunch of other little pieces. I got a piece of amoeba chert. I'm going to try to find an easy peasy thing to nap with the natural tools. I don't feel like suffering the whole night. Okay. So I'm going to use my big hammerstone first and see how that works. Let me see. Oh, that's kind of rough. Although this dry stuff does nap well with natural tools sometimes. Let's try another flake, just in case. I might try this. I'm looking for something that's relatively easy to nap with natural tools. So I got plenty of these rocks from my friend Leo. My friend Leo gave me these. Yeah, looks like it's going to be too dry. It's not very slick. So it's going to be all crunchy, probably. Let's try something else. That was a teaser, yes. Let's see, how about this one? This one looks like it came off the lunar surface. But yeah, it's high grade chert, it looks like. Yeah, let's just keep dropping everything. That'd be great. This is slick, but it might be too slick. When you have slick flint or chert, it's hard for the antler to grab onto it. Yeah, so if I want to find something that's the easiest possible to nap with natural tools, I got to look around quite a bit in my stuff. Yeah, this is high grade chert, so let's keep that one in mind. I might be napping on that one, but let's see. This is a piece of amoeba chert. This might be easier. I want it to be relatively easy so I can explain things and have a good possibility of actually being successful at making something. Now, back in the day, they had to settle for whatever they had available. They couldn't often pick and choose. Although where this comes from Harper, Texas, which is right in the middle of chert country. If they came from that area, yes, they could pick and choose easily whatever napped well. And I think they would do that whenever possible. They would just sample the local stones and see if they worked. And if not, they wouldn't nap it. I've seen a lot of artifacts that are just samplings of stones without napping them down into finished points. This might work. even though it's kind of crushy. Yeah. I just crushed it a lot with the hammerstone. I still got to get used to this hammerstone stuff again. The easiest way to go about knapping with natural tools is to use hammerstones for 80% of what you're doing. And sometimes don't even use indirect percussion or a billet. You know, sometimes you don't even use an Antler billet at all. You just go from hammerstone to pressure flaker. That's the easiest way, I think. Unless you're challenged with direct percussion like me. I'm not that great at direct percussion. Yeah, let's keep dropping everything. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something because I feel uncoordinated. I can't do math in my head, but I don't feel sick. So it's weird. All right. No, that's not going to work. So what do we have going on? Let's see. Harper is about 30 minutes northwest of Kerrville. Yeah, that's where this stuff comes from. It comes from Harper, Texas. All the stuff I've been knapping lately. I got another good piece. I don't know what this is. It looks like Georgetown, but it's not. This is amoeba chert. It's a high grade stuff. It's a high grade piece, which makes me not want to knap it because I want to do something else with it, other than, you know, experimenting with hammerstones and stuff. But oh well. Let's see. Buckskin NYB or Marty has been doing a lot of videos. Let's see. Hold on. I don't want to strain my eyes. Let's see. Chucking videos into the YouTube world like he's an industrial producer. Oh, yeah. Marty's been uploading a lot, I think. Let's see. What do we got in the chat? What do we got? Yeah, we're going to do natural tools or ABO hour here on this live stream. We're going to go for 2 hours. Marty YB, I made it. Hello, Patrick and crew. Yeah, Marty changed his name from Buckskin NYB to Marty YB. I forgot. Let's see. All right. So we got people that are hanging around watching, hopefully hoping that I'm going to be sticking to the process of knapping. I bet. Let's stick to the process, at least for the beginning. If there's questions in the chat and I don't get to the questions right away, just hold on, and I'm going to try to check the chat every now and then. Whenever I check the chat, though, I lose a lot of people that are watching in the view count. They don't like it when I chat. I'm going to have to try something else. My bopper and hammerstone skills are not that great. And I've been doing this for a long time and I still can't get it right. Yeah. It's either nothing happens or something wrong happens. Well, this side works okay. Just this side is not doing it. Yeah, wherever there's a hard spot, I guess it crushes. All right, so just my luck, there's a hard spot up here. Maybe. If I prepare the edges any better, I make it too narrow and too short. See, I start with a piece that I want to maximize. The way I knap, I maximize it, which means I compromise. I try not to take too much off the edge in preparation for flakes. I could be isolating platforms and stuff, but that removes too much of the edge. If I want to end up with something that's half this size, yeah, I can isolate platforms and knock off big areas off the edge because I'm not worried about it because I'm only going to make a small point, so to speak. But I start with small pieces and try to preserve the maximum amount on the small pieces using natural tools. So you'll see me not prepare isolated platforms because, like I said, it takes up too much material to isolate the platforms. Let's see. Yeah, I got a phone call. Dang it. Why do I always get them right in the live stream? All right, so I'm going to try to knock off some good flakes. The hammerstone is kind of hard, right? But if I use a softer hammerstone, I usually break the hammerstone. But for you guys that say you should use a chalky hammerstone, I've got a chalky hammerstone right here. See that? It's just chalky. It doesn't do anything. It just, the chert eats it up. Okay? So you can't tell me to do that, all right? I'll try the sandstone. See, because the hard hammerstone is a little bit crushy. So let's try this. I've broken this before, but oh well. Let's see. It was bigger before. It's one of my sweet pieces of sandstone. Yeah, that worked. Okay. Shall we gloat? Yes? All right, so is it going to work on the tip here? Let's see. It's already eating into the sandstone. Why do I fuss about it? Because it takes me months to get these hammerstones after lots of experimentation. Yeah, I just can't pick one up out of the river and say, okay, it's good, now let's go home. No, just spend like 3 or 4 hours at the river sampling all of them. Yeah. And have a bunch, because some of them will break when I start knapping with them. So you got to have backups. Starting to eat into the stone, into the hammerstone. See, big chunky areas like this require that I remove a lot of the edge and a lot of the length, which I don't want to do, but I got no choice. Yeah. It's not working, trying to walk my way into that. Okay. It's going to be one of those days, one of those nights. Is that going to work? No, I don't think it is. Let's see. Let me see if I can get more precise with a hard hammerstone that's smaller. Let's see. Well, that was amazingly bad. Let's see. It kind of worked because I needed to lower the edge. Well, let's see. What happens when I hit a perfect edge? Yes, it crushes. You guys already know. See, I'm hitting it just in the right spot, but it is highly unpredictable. There it goes. Did it do it? Well, kind of, sort of, almost. It's doing it a little bit. I'm hitting it right where I should, but look what's happening. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be fussing this whole time because I consider natural tool knapping a big pain. That's why I don't use it. But I started with it when I first started knapping. Yep. So I am familiar with it. Okay. And if, you know, other guys that are good at this kind of knapping, if they go to copper and then switch back, it's a difficult learning curve. So they stick with this type of knapping so they can actually make stuff. Yeah. It takes a long time to get used to it. And then if you go to something else, your brain doesn't go back easily. You know. How do I know? I don't know. So it's getting a lot shorter because I have to try to get rid of this mass up front. And with natural tools, it's more unpredictable than with copper. Okay? That's the easiest way to put it. And I can be hitting in the exact correct spot and nothing happens. Nothing favorable happens. Let's try the Antler billet. See what that does. And this is high grade stuff. Yeah, so it should be working, but you know how that goes. And with this, I'm not gonna be able to check the chat as often because I gotta focus on this. All right. Okay, that does work somewhat. But again, it's eating the antler as well as the sandstone. But it is working, okay. I gotta swing this really, really fast though, because it's light. And I am getting some crushing. Okay. I think I'm going to set this down. Is this too valuable to be messing with it right now? Let's try something else. Let me take my jacket off. The sweat stage starts much earlier with natural tools. Okay? All right. Let's see. I'm already sweating. Let's see. Let's go with something else. Let's see what this does here. Where is it? Okay, this one. All right, so let's see what this does. I don't know. See, my friend Leo was napping on this, I believe, so it's already started. I put that one down because I don't want to mess with it right now. I'll wait till I get more used to the tools. I'll get back to this in maybe about 15 minutes. This is an excellent piece of amoeba chert, which is highly prized, highly valuable. I don't want to mess with it too much. But it's relatively easy to nap with natural tools. That's why I'm using it. And even when it's easy, relatively speaking, it's still not easy in the big picture. I'm getting rid of the delicate areas on this one here. It is napping well, this piece. It's another high grade piece of chert, but it's just gray. It's a gray variety of some sort. I don't think it's Georgetown, although it might be. You never know. Yeah, I see. So, yeah, what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of the delicate areas. I'm changing the edge to be less wonky and also to be more like this right here and robust so I can hit it with the hammerstone and not crush it. Hammerstones are very crushy. So this is much more crushy and much more wasteful of the edge than copper. Just in case you want to know the difference. Okay, let's see. Should I do the billet or the hammerstone? Either way, it needs a robust edge. It needs very similar edges with the hammerstone or the antler. You can kind of leave it sharper for antler, but that just ruins your billet. If you make it more dull, you got to hit faster, but at least it doesn't eat through the antler too fast. But I am gonna hit this anyway, even though it's kind of sharp. Let's see how it works. Yeah, see it'll eat into the antler. Let me see. Rub it down a little bit and I'll try again. This is white-tailed deer or mule deer, I forget. Right? Or is it elk? Let me see. It might be elk antler, but it's got a brow tine right there. I forget if elk has a brow tine really close to the base. I don't remember. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not good. Why don't I strike it in a different way? Yeah, let's try a different way. So I'll be experimenting with different billets and stuff. See, this one I can swing. This one I can swing too. This one's flatter. I'm just going to try this. Swing it with a flatter surface. That's kind of good. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Although that took off way too much. Oh, let's see. It's okay on this side because that's nasty stuff right there. But I'm hitting with the flat and dragging it across. And I'm swinging it. I'm not putting my finger here. When I put my finger here, it doesn't go as fast. This was a fast hit. I gotta make sure I don't overstrike it. Yeah, like that. So I struck it on there. The same place I'd hit it with a hammerstone. Yeah, with the same kind of force. That seems to be working okay. Now the test is up near the tip. It's a little bit too sharp. So fast and with the flat part of the antler. Let's see. There we go. Much better. Well, sometimes it's much better. Yeah, but it's okay. There is some nasty concrete stuff there, so I'm going to get rid of that. Let's see what else we can do to thin this down. See, I can't overstrike this at all. It's got to be just a perfect hit. So I'm going to miss because I'm doing it on purpose. I don't want to try to hit it on the first strike because the first strike hit often overstrikes. So I got to move in on it just so you can just barely strike it. Yeah, that was okay. Luckily, I didn't overstrike it. See, I overstruck that one. Okay. There we go. All right, so it's a little bit crunchy. That's all right. What do we got in the chat? Oh, I missed some stuff. All right, we got super chats. Jesse, $5. What does that say? Okay. No comment on Jesse's super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Jim Cooper, $5 super chat. I can send you good hammerstones. I have a huge pile of them, and it's easy to get more. I posted some shorts. Yeah, I've got hammerstones too, but yeah, you can send me some. I want to see what you consider to be high-grade hammerstones. This is a sweet hammerstone for me, but it takes time to get used to. I've got a whole box of hammerstones too. Let's see. But yeah, you can send me some, Jim, if you want. Where are my hammerstones? I'm going to show you my collection. Okay, I've got all kinds of hammerstones, but I've tried all of these, and the only sweet one that I can come up with is this one here. This one, which is almost identical, just different size. And my little sandstone one. All these other ones are, mixed quality. They're either too hard or too soft, or too weird or too crackly. What is that? Some of these I picked up here in Vermont. That one doesn't look too bad. I'm going to try this one. Some of them I picked up in Texas. Well, yeah, you can send me some hammerstones if you want. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let's see. I posted some shorts on my YouTube using a thin hand pad. Okay, I'll take a look at those in a little while, Jim. Thanks for the super chat. What else did I miss? I can't see. Hold on while I clumsily navigate. Smoking cigars. Alan says, I think Patrick likes to ignore me sometimes. If it seems like I'm ignoring you, it's because I'm having trouble negotiating the chat. I don't intentionally ignore anybody except the people that post only numbers in the chat. Those are the ones I intentionally ignore. Let's see. Most of mine, Jim Cooper says, most of mine are like your nice ones. I go places with lots of very nice sandstone, very grippy, well cemented. Yeah, but it depends. If you're knapping mostly obsidian, yeah, it's grippy and well cemented. But if you knap like what I knap, most of those sandstone hammerstones that I knap with will just turn to rubble within 30 minutes because of the stuff that I knap. I like to knap the raw stuff first, and if I'm not able to knap it, then I will heat treat it. But when I try to knap the raw stuff, I go through hammerstones easily. But it doesn't mean that you can't send me anything. I'll go through your hammerstones too. All right. Dockenstein says, how do I get some of that Danish flint? You just have to ask in the chat. If Matthias is here, you can ask him. Also, if he responds to the video, you can ask him in the comments. Or I can ask him if he will give out his email. But you need to send me. Dockenstein, send me an email and say, is it possible for me to get in contact with Matthias? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Otherwise, there's Danish Flint available on Facebook from other people. Let's see. Bren says, I got a shed antler from a whitetail this past year that makes that one look small, so they do come in that size. Yeah, I have small ones, but I also have large pieces. Let's see. I've got huge whitetail pieces, what I consider huge. But I don't normally use billets like this. So I'm just saving those. I think Dakota Horn sent me some of these. I'm not sure who sends me what. Now, because I mix them all together, I should just label all of these with people's names. This is probably 6 different people in this box as far as the gifts. But yeah, I've got moose also. Eventually you'll see me try all that stuff. See, I've got moose with the skull attached. It's pretty heavy. I just don't normally nap with that stuff. I nap with hammerstone a lot. And I punish the hammerstones quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, Gary says I'm talking smack because Patrick isn't in the chat. You're talking smack, Gary? What's Chris Hansen doing? Do we have people? Okay, Michael's here. Our moderator is here. Let me see. Let me see. What am I making? I'm making a mess right now. I'm trying to get back into using natural tools, so I'm going to be doing this every Friday. You'll be seeing my struggles in real time. Yeah, almost overshot that flake. Just keep in mind that I don't like overshots, okay? So if I get an overshot, I'm going to be highly disappointed. And I'm not even kidding. For me, an overshot means I failed on that flake because I'm not supposed to take anything off the other side. The way I nap, I try to maximize the pieces that I've got. And if I take something off the other side, that means I did not maximize it. Okay. So this one seems to be working okay with the billet that has a flat face. But I've got to prepare this edge a little bit more robustly. Yeah. Now also keep in mind that I can be using the best quality hammerstones in the world, and because my hand-eye coordination is not that great, I will not be performing well with the best material in the world because I don't have the ability to strike properly with direct percussion. That's why I use indirect percussion. So just keep that in mind. If you send me something and I don't have success with it, it's not because it's your stones that are at fault. It's because I cannot do direct percussion well. Okay? All right. And I've tried. I've been doing this for many years. I have to admit that I do not have the ability to perform well with direct percussion. Okay. I'm trying to clean up this face here, but it's not working that well. And you can see I hit this really, really hard. Did it work? Yes. Good. That looks better. Yes, it does. So I look, let's see, that it's still kind of wonky. But I think what I did is I ground that down a lot. And it did work. So let's grind this a little bit more before I take a flake into this area. So I'm hitting with a relatively flat face. I tried different approaches. I tried hitting with the side like this and not swinging it. And also swinging it with the side. It didn't work that well. And then I tried the hammerstone, which was smashing it to bits. Then I tried the sandstone, which was eating up the sandstone. So I switched over to this billet, which is a whitetail. This definitely is a whitetail billet, but I'm hitting with the flat and swinging it very, very fast. And I'm grinding these down a little bit more than I would normally think of doing with Antler. You can leave it kind of sharp with Antler, but it's not working with it sharp. So I had to grind it more than I normally would, and it seems to be working. Okay. And I am backing it up against my hand so it resists the force, because I think I'm losing some energy somewhere. Normally I would do this, but in this case I'm backing it up against my hand so I can lose less energy. It's working okay. But as you can see, these strikes remove a lot off the edge. That strike removed a lot, that one removed a lot, and that one removed a lot. Much more than copper does. For the same type of result. Okay, let's see. I gotta watch that I don't get it. I don't make it too wonky. Yeah. That's not gonna do it. I have to make sure the edges are nice and strong. All right, so I don't want to thin it too much in the middle, because this hitting it, the way I'm hitting it, pulls on it a lot and stresses it out. Not only does it stress the stone out, it stresses me out, because I could snap this at any time with that kind of strike. But it seems to be the only kind of strike that's working. Is with a very fast swinging strike. Swinging. Yeah. And just barely touching the edge. So that's why I'm missing, because I can't be hitting it on the first strike like that, because I could feel that it's too much force and too high up. That kind of force, if it doesn't remove the flake, can snap the whole thing in half. So I'm just barely touching the edge. There it goes. And I'm explaining it little by little, because, or as I go, because I've had a couple of people ask me, can you explain exactly what you're doing? I can't do anything with the Antler. I said, okay, I'll do that. So I'm swinging. I'm hitting an edge that's ground down more than I would normally grind it down. I've already tried hammerstones that are pretty good as far as quality of the hammerstones, but they didn't work that good. They're not working like this. And it may be the material. It just may be the... I'm not used to the hammerstones. Something is different that I don't know. So I can't tell you exactly why it wasn't working. Come on. There we go. So I flattened that side out. Now I'll turn the edge this way and try to flatten the other side. Yeah. Yep. And the edge is going to be kind of wonky. I'm going to go with the flow. This might just dip down and stay like that. I'm trying to maximize the whole thing. Come on. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna pick at it the best I can with the abilities that I have, which are not that great. I just try to come up with a clean surface that's thin enough for me to just sharpen it, and then we're good. Yes, yes. Totally different mindset than with copper. Copper, I can get away with a lot of stuff. I can hit edges that are normally, pretty weak, but I can't do that with this technique. Come on. Don't make me hit it really hard. Yeah. All right. Come on. I can hit it really hard down here, but up here is where it makes me nervous. That's not going to do it. It's going to make me adjust it with some pressure flaking. Yep. Why don't I like to adjust it with pressure flaking? Because it takes forever. There we go. But yeah, as it gets thinner, I'm going to have to adjust the edge with some pressure flaking just to get it just right. And I rub it like this so I can make sure that I get the feel for it. I don't know how to explain it. I do the same thing with a hammerstone. There it goes. Come on. There it goes. So I flattened both sides. Now it's a matter of figuring out where the final finishing flakes are going to go. I'll probably do those with indirect percussion, because I need to get this lump out of here. I need to get that ridge off of there. I need to get this lump off of there. So I'm going to make the edges straight with indirect percussion and flatten out the surfaces. Yeah, unless I can figure out, I might be able to do this with the billet. Hold on. Yeah, it's probably easier to knock this down, get this thin down with the billet, because that's going to be a big flake. Or it's best done with a big flake. All right, let's see. It almost did it. Let's see. Oh, yes. There it goes. We're starting to cook with gas. But yeah, all these strikes remove a lot off the edge. That's the only bad part. Can I make it so that it doesn't do that? No, because it wasn't working. I'm trying to only hit a little bit. I've got to hit it fast. And it's not like copper where I can use a small area to hit and get a big flake. I've got to, this requires I hit an area slightly bigger than with copper, and the flake may or may not be big. So it's highly unpredictable. So like these two that I just did, I tried to just use a little bit of the edge and it didn't work. So now I got to figure out how to get rid of those step fractures later. It requires more of an edge than I was thinking. Right down here, if I had hit a little bit harder, it would take more of the edge off, but it wouldn't step fracture. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta watch out for these cracks. That almost looked like a crack that was fatal. It's not bad. It is weird in there, though. I don't know what happened there. So I can finish this off with indirect percussion. I got it thin enough. Yeah. All right, what's going on in the chat? Hold on a second. I'm going to get back to this one. But before that, I'm going to clean up a little bit. Then I'll check the chat. I clean up for two reasons. One, it makes me feel better. And two, I don't want to drop my workpiece. I don't want to drop my workpiece on a flake. Yeah. Because chances are it'll break the tip off if I drop it on a flake. All right, so I'm going to try to get this as thin as this, okay, with the technique with the billet. But I'm going to check the chat first. Let's see. No, wrong button. All right, let's see. Only 60 viewers? Yeah. My viewership has gone way down because I'm back to the shadow banning, but I think it's because I deleted some people last time, but I have no idea. Robert says, what do you think about hammerstones of flint? The ones I have is artifacts, about a tennis ball, big size. Grainier, tough stuff, but still flint from Sweden. Yeah, hammerstones of flint work really good in the beginning stages, but like these final stages like this, I use Antler. I can't get this kind of thinness with a hard hammerstone. The flint hammerstones work well, but they're hard hammerstones. I can generate longer flakes and wider flakes with a billet. So I don't use the hard hammerstones on that stage. Ronald says, how long you've been knapping with natural tools? Well, all combined, I think I napped for like 6 years with natural tools, all combined. And I'm getting back into it, so it's a continuous process. I'm still learning. I'm also, I think, let's see, does Jake have a live stream on Friday nights at this hour? I think he does. Last time I looked at a live stream that he was doing, it started at 8:30 Eastern. I started this one at 8 o'clock Eastern. So he's usually on at this time too. So we're all kind of probably going back and forth looking at his live stream. Someone let me know if he's got a live stream going right now. That also reduces my viewership. Let's see. Let's see. Ronald says, this is actually how the Native American people did it. Well, we don't know exactly how they did it, but yeah, we're using the tools that they used, but we don't know exactly how they did it. I'm just showing you what works for me. What started working for me is to use a flat-faced billet. But Native Americans can use whatever they want. They can use hammerstones or rounded face billets, or they can use, animal bones for billets, or they can pressure flake a lot of it and then alternate back and forth between pressure flaking and billet work, or pressure flaking a hammerstone. They might use different types of hammerstones, softer than I was using or harder than I was using. We don't know exactly. We just know that they use the natural tools. That's it. And some of the artifacts that they used, the hammerstones and whatnot, are in the campsites. So we know what the hammerstones look like in some cases. Let's see. I missed a lot of chat. I apologize. Let's see. Let's see. Somebody says he isn't live right now. Okay, Jake is not live right now. Yeah, we're in the USA. Robert says, what do you think about hammerstones of flint? Okay, I already answered that one. They're okay. It depends on your style. I don't like them. I don't like the hammerstones of flint. They're too hard. Although I do like hard hammerstones, the ones that are made of flint are extremely hard. But if you don't have anything else, you have to use them. Let's see. Alan says, Coop, I cheated on the live stream and watched a couple of your shorts. You're a brave man, obsidian with bare hands. Let's see. Guys are funny. Let's see. Are there any found in the USA? Yeah, there's some flint hammerstones here in the USA. Some, not very many. It looks like they were not used for flint knapping in some cases. Looks like they might have been crushing something else with the flint hammerstones and not knapping flint with it. They might have been crushing seeds or something with the flint, and it looks like they were using it as hammerstones. It's hard to tell sometimes. Okay, so I think I don't see any questions other than those that I answered, right? Roy says, Patrick, I was in Lowe's and found some copper rods at 20 bucks. I would have bought one, but they were like 6 feet long and they weren't copper, pure copper. They had some other metal in them. Is that okay? No, don't buy those because they're steel on the inside. It just has a copper coating on the outside. Yeah, don't buy those. It has to be solid copper, which you can get from eBay. If you need a link, just email me and say, hey, Patrick, can you give me the link to where you buy them on eBay? And I'll send you the link. Let's see. Let's see. Justin says, I know how bad overshots are. Do you ever overshoot with pressure? Yeah, I do overshoot with pressure sometimes by accident, especially at the tips. Jim Cooper says, I know obsidian requires a softer stone. I specifically mean hammerstones for tougher materials. Yeah, you can send me some stuff. Just label what you send me, what you think is a tougher material that is suitable for hard work pieces. Make sure you write on the stone or, stick a piece of tape to the stone and say, this stone is for tough material, or this stone, in my opinion, IMO, for soft work pieces or soft material like obsidian. And just be specific on the hammerstone so when I use it in the video, I can compare my results to what you have as what your results are. Yeah, it'd be easier for me if you specify on the stones themselves what they are to be used for, in your opinion. All right, let's see. And Jim says, sure thing, Patrick. Awesome. Thank you very much. That'll be a good video. Ronald says, why is there some points very clunky and some so refined? It's a matter of practice, luck, and also the materials used. Many different things could be in there as far as why they're refined. But I've come to the conclusion that the most refined points are made by skilled knappers, both naturally skilled and skilled over time. But this is the kicker. Over time, because they lived longer, not because they spent a whole lot of time during the day to get good quickly, because they don't have that much time. As a hunter-gatherer, you don't have that much time during the day. You have a little bit of time, and the longer you live, that little bit of time every day does add up. So I've come to the conclusion that hunter-gatherers, which do not have much time, generated very beautiful points as long as they lived long enough. Yeah, it's all a matter of, not all, it's mostly a matter of practice. These nice points are mostly a matter of practice, but there's also an element of luck and of good materials. Like, you're only as good as your materials and your tools. That's true in any time period. Okay, so there's that. But for the most part, I believe that they made refined points as men that lived longer than other men. All right, I don't know how else to explain it. Okay. All right, so let me get back to, I'm gonna see if I can thin this one down now. See if I can match it. I'm worried about this. We'll see what happens there. I don't think that crack is major, but it looks pretty bad. All right, so let's see if I can thin this down to the same extent. All right, let's see. Yes, that worked okay. It's going to be a little tricky up here, though. Let's see. Oh, yes. It did not overshoot. Voila. Haha. Come on. Did it do it? It did it. And it still did not overshoot. Haha. All right. And I got to keep checking this to make sure there's no flint getting embedded in there, or chert getting embedded into this. Because if I get stuff stuck in there, it stops working right. In fact, let me grind it down a little bit anyway. I want to get it more flat because you see it's got indentions in it. Though those can catch on the edge and cause it to pull too much and break the whole piece. There can be a little bit of a dent there, but it can't be too much. Not with the method I'm using. I'm using a sliding strike or a glancing strike, and it can't catch. It's got to be smoothly striking it. So I'm gonna get back to this in a minute. Let me do something down here. Why? I don't know. Yeah, okay. So yeah, nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's fine. All right, so let me trim this up here. I'm going to trim this up here by striking downward so I can get rid of this mass this way. I'll move the edge this way. That's the idea anyway. Yeah, let's see. It's time to start using some pressure. All right, so I made a new roll today earlier. Let's see. I like using a roll. I do have a pad also. Well, what I'm going to do for the pad for now is I'm going to take a knife handle and a piece of leather and just nap on this if I need a pad. But for now, the roll should work on the thick piece. But when it gets thinner, I'll use the pad because I don't want to break the thinner piece on the roll because the roll is very flexible. It's not going to work. All right, let's see. We're gonna have to try different pressure flakers because I need to adjust this edge. It's not right. That's not right. Okay, that's not gonna work. If I have to apply too much pressure, it's not worth it. Because I'll just pull the tip right off. All right. Indirect percussion. To fix this. It's too bulky up here. See that? It's way too bulky. Yeah, if I start hitting that with anything from hammerstone to antler, it's gonna rip that tip right off. So either you have to use pressure or very delicate indirect percussion. Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to swap everything back and forth until I get it done. That might do it. Yeah, let's see. Not too shabby. Let's see. Too much of the edge. Over time, I can get better at that with more practice. I won't be removing so much of the edge. With more practice, I can reduce the amount of edge that I remove. Yeah, but it requires me being more accurate. In theory. So I lost some of the tip. But it's getting there. Okay. Yeah, see, I have to remove a lot of the edge, but that's the way it goes. I'm trying to get a big flake. Yeah, like that. Dang, that took a lot off. Come on. No. Lots of edge removed, but not much happening on the surface. There we go. Much better. I've got a big lump there that I've tried to hit that from all different angles and it's still there. Yep. Only way to get rid of that is to make it more narrow, which is the opposite of what I want to do, but if that's what it's going to take. I could probably get a flake. If I had a piece of copper, I could take that off easily by striking right here. But with a billet, it's going to remove a lot of the edge for one. So I've got to make sure that it's worth it. Unless I strike with more skill. The more skill I use to strike it, the less edge gets removed, right? So, let's see. Gotta breathe in because I hold my breath during these things. Yeah, it didn't work. How about that? Yeah, it's better. It's starting to get curved though. But yeah, it was not easy to hit just that small area. But it did work. It's just curved now. I ended up taking too much off, yes. All right, so let me see if I can straighten it out more. I can probably remove a lot off of this to balance it out. Ouch. It's getting thinner. Okay. All right, so it is thinner, but it got kind of wonky from the inaccuracy of the hits. All right. So let's see. It's about the same. It's got the same amount of wonkiness to it also. It's funny looking. But yeah, now I can refine these down with indirect percussion. What time is it? I still have 40, almost 45 minutes. Yeah, let's refine these down now. I'm going to start with this one here. I need to take that curve out, so that's my first priority. Let's see. So let me just set up these edges a little bit better. Yeah, this is cow bone, so it's a little bit slippery compared to antler. You'll see me slip with it, in case you're wondering. And if I need to take a big flake, I'm going to take it with indirect percussion. I'm just refining the edge right now, just making it more regular. Let's see. Yeah, I'll do the bigger flakes with indirect percussion. This is the hardest part, so I'll be focusing on the napping and not the chat right now. The hardest part is getting it thin during the final thinning. Okay? Getting it thin during other stages is not this difficult. This is the hardest part. Okay. I have to make sure I take my time too. If I rush it, it becomes a mess. All right, so I've got these intersecting flakes that don't want to go anywhere. I'll deal with that in a minute. Yeah, I'm trying to pick that out, but yeah, with Antler, it's difficult to pick those out. Yeah, they're in there pretty good, so I won't be able to pick those out. So I just got to keep hitting on that and see if I can nap that out of there. So I just took this flake right here. It did okay. I think I can get the rest of it. Yeah. I'll get back to doing the rest of it later. I'm going to take this flake right now, if possible. Come on. Billet? Do I have to use a billet on that? Yeah, okay. I'm losing energy somewhere because the flakes are not traveling. But it's all right. Side A looks pretty good. It's just this side is getting kind of crunchy. Let's see. Yikes. Okay. I think I can clear that out. That was kind of lucky to have had that flake travel up this way. I thought I was going to travel this way, but it went up that way. All right. It's okay. I was, yeah, mainly looking to clear this out, but now I just need to take one more flake in this direction. And hopefully it doesn't mess it up. Hopefully that didn't dive too deep. Well, it didn't reach it, but it didn't wipe it out. Okay. I might just have to live with that because it's starting to get really thin. I'll come back to it later. If I mess with it too much, it'll get too thin right there. So for now, I'll just leave it and I'll come back to it. Let's see. Maybe I can do that with a billet. Yeah. Ah. You can see it coming, I bet, right? But yeah, look, it had a diving flake. So that was the weak spot there. If there wasn't that weak spot, I probably could have gotten away with it. You know, got away with hitting this. But I probably also overshot or overstruck too high. But yeah, that definitely was a weak spot because of that diving flake. Where was it? could have also had an incipient crack from the side, but I don't think that was it. I think it was a combination of too much force on the base and that weird flaking going on up here. That flake that traveled up this way thinned it out too much there. Yeah, okay. I'll put that in the broken bifaces. We can continue with this one. Let's see, what time is it? Let me look at the chat. Marty says, "Ah, shucks, tough loss." No, it's I'm actually surprised that I made it that far with the lack of experience that I have. Let's see. I hate that when it happens. Yeah, it happens too much, says Flexguard. Yeah, it does. Let's see. That's going to be a nice piece. What would you say the other day? Okay. Chuck Finland, Ed Moreland would say, you know what you made? A smaller arrowhead. Yeah. But someone will, I'll put this in the broken bifaces in the auction so people can see what high grade amoeba chert naps like. You know, you can nap on it. If you win this in the auction, you can see it is high grade stuff. I have some more pieces. But yeah, that's some of the best material to nap with natural tools is that high grade amoeba stuff. If you don't do what I did. All right, let's see. I still got this one. This one's turning out pretty good. I don't have to thin the base on this one either, so there's that. So I'm looking to see if I missed any questions. Is that Georgetown? This is something similar to Georgetown. I don't think it is Georgetown though, because it had that weird inclusion in it. It's just probably something similar. A lot of this stuff came from Harper, Texas, not Georgetown, Texas. But it's the same kind of stuff. It's Edwards Plateau chert. Let's see. Tommy Anderson, rhetorical question, making mines work can be fun sometimes? I suppose so. Salamandra, copper is one of the few metals that can form completely pure, and yeah, gold can too sometimes, but not many other metals do that. Yep. If I leave the pieces that I'm napping thicker, they don't break as often. So this happens when you try to get the pieces very thin. I could have left it a lot thicker, but I wanted to get it thin. I wanted both of these to be nice and thin. That's the price of going for thinness. That's why sometimes I tell stories about guys that use up all the quarry stone, trying to get thin points. When I do my videos, sometimes I goof around and tell stories about the guys that use up all the quarry stone to make thin points. They get thrown off cliffs. Yep. If you leave it thicker, that doesn't happen as often. Yeah, I was just pushing the limits on it, and then hitting the base, you know, like a dum-dum. All right, if there's questions, I'm trying to find them. If I missed your question, I apologize. You guys are answering questions also. That's good. Is Mike still here, Red-Eyed Patriot? Just a guy named Sue. You ever actually used any of these tools? Yeah, I've used them before to make stuff. I'm gonna do that very soon. One of my favorite tools is this thing here. You know, I use different blades, and I also can put I can put a piece of bone in here too, or an antler, and then chip stone with it. But I usually use an adze blade and chip bone or wood with it. And these, you know, what are you going to use these for? For cutting meat and stuff? I mean, it's a no-brainer. I've got a short video where I cut steak or venison steaks with this. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's so simple. It's not even worth demonstrating. Um, Mike says, I once nearly napped a whole biface with just an anvil stone. Eventually broke it trying to get one fat spot flake off. It was a fun experiment. Yeah. That's almost like reverse direct percussion. I guess you can call it reverse direct. Bill Taylor's here. Yay. Okay, so Jesse says, I'm guessing the weight of the big billet is what's driving the bigger flakes. Are you talking about this one here? It's the speed of this that's driving the bigger flakes. It's the speed, not the weight. Tommy Anderson, isn't that Guadalupe gouges? How they were hafted? Yeah, they were hafted like this, yes. I think I know what you're talking about. Guadalupe bifaces, or whatever they're called. They were hafted like this. And see how this is angled with an obtuse angle and not acute? The stone fits better like this than if you were to flip it upside down. You don't want an acute angle in here in the wood, because when you insert the stone in there, it looks like it'll fit and kind of lock in place. But as soon as you hit something, it'll break the stone if it has a joint that is stuck into the wood. As soon as you start hitting, it'll break the stone. So this is the joint that you need. How do I know? Because I've used this a lot. This is a piece of live oak. Yeah, I did have to bend this to be perpendicular. See, this is the main branch, and this is an offshoot. But it was like this, so I had to bend it down with heat to get it straighter. And you can use this side as a tool also. You can pound whatever you want into a mush or crack nuts or whatever with this side. I've got a smaller version. This is also the same thing, where you put the stone in here. You know, you put a blade in here and you wrap it through that hole. Okay, you wrap it like this, but it's through the hole up and over. This is for smaller projects. These are both live oak handles. And yeah, I've used these. The majority of artifacts that you find made of stone are not blades like this. There are other tools and utilized flakes. You know, for butchering meat, you just utilize one of these flakes, and it's called a utilized flake. Let's see, let me start pressure flaking on this before I run out of time. I think if I didn't answer your question, just ask it again, I guess. I might see it the next time. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to use leg pressure to do this. See if I can run some longer flakes. Yeah, like that. If I can't run long flakes very easily, I'll just switch over to indirect percussion. Is that good? That's kind of good. It's not that good. Let me see. How was that? That's a little bit better. I can get those much easier with indirect percussion, so I don't have to strain myself. I'm going to try to get, let's see, where is that crack? Yeah, it's right there. I'm going to flake into that, see what that is. I'm worried about that little area. So that flake ran pretty good. But I'm encountering the same kind of issue. See that little issue right there? That's what got me into trouble on this one too. And it's comparatively in the same spot where I got a weirdness. See that? It's got a weird spot there and it's got a weird spot here. That can create a weakness, or that has created a weakness. I don't know if it's coincidence that it's in the same spot, or it's just the way I've been napping is flexing this stone to the point where it's starting to crack. It looks all right though. It's just weird. Anyways, let's continue. Yep, it's one of those days. I can probably shoot a flake this way and get rid of that. Again, I'm hitting the base. Let's see if it works. It's going to make me hit it really, really hard, so let's hope it doesn't break. Oh, almost did it. I sent the flake in there, but it didn't. It didn't do it. Did it do it? No. Sometimes I can hit the face of that step fracture. Sometimes. There it goes. I was able to push on that and pop it out with this. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't like those first hit strikes. There we go. Why don't I like those first hit strikes? Because when I hit it, I would rather miss the first time and sneak up on it. But it worked out okay. The only thing is left is that little step fracture, which is not too bad. All right, so what else? I gotta thin the rest of it down. What time is it? I got 10 minutes. See if we can get it to look nice in 10 minutes. So I'm hitting it with glancing blows with a flat surface. It's slightly rounded. Yeah, it's not totally flat. Well, I'm worried about this weak spot right here. But I took a chance anyway. I hit the base a couple times just to get it thinned down a little bit. I do need to remove some more relatively big flakes, but I'm afraid to do that. I'm afraid to do it. Let's see if I can remove it with the hammerstone. Might be a little more gentle than with the billet, or the indirect percussion flaker. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was nice. It just didn't go as far as I wanted, but I'll take it. So I'm hitting it like this. It's a little bit wobbly, but it's gentle on it. If there's a wobble to it, it's kind of gentle on the edge. Come on. See those little flakes? They look like pressure flakes, but they're actually percussion flakes. Come on. It's a little bit crunchy on this side, as usual, right? I think we determined that this is a very crunchy side. This is a piece of sandstone. It's one of my best hammer stones. I try not to use it too much. it used to be a lot larger, but I end up breaking it apart. But it removes those little flakes easily. See, I'm trying to make that surface smoothly convex for maybe a billet strike or indirect percussion. As I'm pushing the limits of the thinness, I don't have to thin it anymore, but I want to try to get a flake to travel into this area right here to get rid of some of that crunchiness and also get it a little thinner and thin this down too right there. But I'm pushing my luck, just so you know. It's not something I think is going to be easy. I'm moving the edge this way. If I don't think it's worth the risk, I won't try to remove that. I won't try to remove that bulge right there. If it looks too risky, or if it's going to remove too much of the edge, I think it'd be all right. I'm going to do a billet strike into that area right there. See how lumpy it is right there? I can probably take a billet strike into this area from here. It's convex and everything, so it might work as long as it doesn't snap in half. I don't know, that's too risky. How about the side here? Yeah. So I can either hit from there or there. I think the side's less risky because I got that crack in here. If I hit there, you might have the same problem we did before. Normally, this kind of issue isn't a problem, right? Like if I was using copper or whatever, anything but natural tools, this wouldn't be a problem because it doesn't take much energy to remove that flake. But with natural tools, I got to swing extremely hard to get the energy, and that reduces my accuracy. So it's not the difficulty in removing that flake, it's the difficulty in removing it with accuracy. Yeah, that's the accuracy is the hard part. That's why I like to use indirect percussion, but I don't think the indirect percussion is going to work on this particular flake because it's going to have to be big. All right, let's see. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Nice. Yeah. So now it doesn't have that big lump. Okay. A little bit better. Yeah. Okay, so I'll pressure flake it now. Hit the like button before you leave so that YouTube likes it. Even though if you don't like the video, you can still hit the like button. Or tap the screen a couple times. Yeah, man, I don't like it though. Yeah, if you really don't like it, it's okay. All right, let's get some leg pressure going here. Leg assisted pressure. Yeah. All right. No, no. It's too slippery. Let's see, what am I going to do? Let's use an Antler. Antler is more grippy. Yeah, let's try that. Ah, come on. It's trying. Did it do it? It's removing a lot of the edge, but it's still trying to do it. Come on. It's trying to do it. Yeah, it just takes getting used to. You build up the muscles after a while. If it's not doing it, I'll use indirect percussion. But sometimes I can do this with pressure, but I think I still have to build up some strength for this. Yeah, okay. That's enough. Come on. Nope. It doesn't work if I just use a little bit of pressure. I gotta use a lot so the flake will travel further. Okay. See, with just a little bit of pressure, I get these little step pressures. I'm thinking I can just use a little bit of pressure and get the edge thinner and try to run some flakes to the middle, but it doesn't like it. It needs a little bit more force. So, let's see. Come on. It doesn't want to do it. There it goes. All right, so the lesson is don't use so much pressure and don't use so much percussion. It did break on that spot. See that? It made me do a lot of force. I did remove the flake. See that? It did get removed, the flake I was going after. But yeah, it broke on that weak spot. And it's almost an identical break to the last one. That's amazing. Almost identical. Yeah. Nice materials. You'll have a chance to nap those if you get those in the Broken bifaces. All right, so that's it. I've got a lot of other stones I can work. Like I've got these. I was going to try these two also, the Flint Ridge and the Vaculite. I'll do these next Friday. These are much more flakery. Let's see. So you'll get a chance to see me destroy these instead of the high grade Central Texas stuff. Yeah, this naps so easily, comparatively speaking. So yeah, you can see me destroy these next time. These are both heat treated. Heat treated Novaculite and Flint River. No, Flint Ridge. This is Flint Ridge. And I think Leo was already napping this one. I napped this one down a little bit because it was originally a flake. So I'll nap these next week. Okay, I'll keep them over here. I've also got this I'm going to try to nap with natural tools. And I think Leo made this one from the rock. This is like a little Kerrville biface. My friend that gave me the rocks, this was with the rocks. I don't know if, I think he did make this one. All right, so there you go. I still have these two pieces as well, so I'll be napping these. Well, maybe not. I might have to use. No, I'll save this one. This one is going to be like a nightmare to nap with natural tools, so I won't do that one. But I might do this one. Let's see. Next Friday. Yeah, it looks sweet. And this was found like this, so this could be an artifact, right? The Native Americans were just skimming some pieces off. It could have also been tumbled in a river, but it looks like it may have been just skinned off and experimented with by Native Americans. Yeah, it looks like high-grade stuff, but it's still a little bit tough. But I think it'll work. So I'll save this one for next week. Okay? All right. So there you go. Let me check the chat, and then I'll say goodnight. Looks Acheulean. Yeah, that's a little hand axe. Let's see. Killer Cork, great live as always. Patrick, thank you. Jim says eventually he will give up and show us his overshot alien technology. Yeah, I might. Swiss Army bifaces. He just made interchangeable tip technology. Yeah. There you go. That's a good excuse. Let's see. Killer Cork says I got about 5 that broke like that the past week. Yeah. Wilderness Quest Outdoors says that's the break I always get. Yeah, for some reason it's breaking the tip off. Yeah. Welcome to the club. Now he has to decide if it's a bad spot is him or not. Yeah. I always blame it on the bad spot. Oh yeah. The weirdness got you today. Yes, it did. I have to be more careful with the tips. Yeah. I had to be careful with the tips of the points with copper as it is, but with the natural tools, I had to be even more careful, apparently. All right. So I'm looking for questions. If I see none, I will call it a night. Let's see. So I'm glad somebody's getting better watching me. You'll see my progress in real time. I'm going to be napping natural tools with natural tools once a week. Che says, do you love doing this? Because it's so cool. I do like doing this. I do love doing it, but with smaller points, with small arrowheads. Let's see. I'm looking for one I might have already made to show you. Oh, I know what. I got templates, right? I like to make these smaller arrowheads. Smaller ones. These little ones. Those are the ones I like doing. The bigger ones, not so much. Why? Because they break easily. They break easily for me anyway. Some people like to make their bigger ones because the smaller ones break for them. Me, it's just the opposite. All right. Jay Valente, I missed your entrance. All right, so let me see. If I forgot or if I missed your question, I apologize. You can ask in the comments, I guess, after the live stream has been uploaded. Although it's been taking days and days for these live streams to process. They don't show up right away. You missed Jesse's question? Where is Jesse's question? How far back do I need to go? Oh gosh, I don't see. Oops. Jesse, what was your question? Killer Quark says, I'm totally copying your template idea. Yes, go ahead. JJ says, I need new knives for my raisin grass driller. Can I make from this stone ones? I have no idea what that means. What's a raisin grass driller? I don't know. Chuck says, thanks for the show. Great format. Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Bill Taylor says, I tried using an indirect and broke my indirect stick, and I gave up on natural tools, by the way. I see. Okay. What size of copper rod do you prefer for indirect percussion? 3/8 or 1/2 inch? I prefer 3/8. Mike says, he asked if adding weight to a billet could be beneficial, maybe reduce the need for multiple billets. It generates better flakes. You can add weight, but I wouldn't. But yeah, if you increase the length of the billet, like, and it'll swing better, right? You just increase the length of the billet, and you swing it, and that eliminates the need to make it heavier. But you're gonna, with me anyway, I lose some accuracy when I have to swing it. Some people can swing the billets and not have a problem. For some reason, with almost any type of direct percussion, I have an issue with accuracy. I can't do it very accurately. I can do it, but just not with the kind of accuracy I need, apparently. Let's see. Where is I had a nice this I tend to use non-swinging billets. This is the heaviest one I have. It's a moose billet with some of the skull attached. Yeah. So I'll use that as the heaviest one I have, but I will use a billet that I can swing. Like this one here, I can swing this. I just have to shape the end more rounded, and then I can swing this. This generates a lot of power. This is Axis deer. You can tell by the pith. It's just a little round hole. It's solid antler and very dense. The Axis deer, AXIS, is the best billet, I think. if you can get a thick one. This one is like medium size. I think they go a little bit thicker than this. Unfortunately, Axis deer are not very big, so it's rare to find a really thick piece. All right, is that it? I'm going to call it a night. Personally, I don't like adding weight to hammerstones, big hammerstones or big billets. I don't like big tools. They mess with my wrist for one. I don't have trouble with my wrist these days too much, but I was developing arthritis in my right wrist for a while until I stopped using large tools. Then it healed up pretty good. I still have problem with the wrist as far as pain goes. If I start using the big hammerstone a lot, I'll have problems with my wrist. So, or a big billet. So I don't use big billets or big hammerstones. Jim Cooper says, Patrick, I don't know if this would work for you, but for me, if I need accuracy, I only lift off the striking surface a couple inches, and instead of swiping it, I start from a dead stop and rapidly accelerate or generate force. Yeah, that's an idea. Yep. I can also isolate the platforms so that it becomes kind of a no-brainer. I just lose a lot of edge when I isolate, but I should probably show that anyway for people that need to see what that means. See, if I start with a big piece, I can show you how to isolate platforms or isolate striking areas, excuse me, on something like this, because it's very wide. I can show you how to isolate these areas, and if I lose width, it doesn't matter too much. The reason why I lose width when I isolate these striking areas is because you have to take back everything else except that isolated spot. So you're losing a lot of width just by isolating. And then if you hit it and crush it and nothing happens, you've lost a lot of width. Whereas if you just remove the delicate areas, it doesn't remove that much width to remove the delicate areas, and then you hit opportunistically. I do it opportunistically, but I do need to show people what it means to isolate these striking areas, or even isolate a pressure area. Okay, I can do it on something this wide, so yeah. I think I will do that. Jim says, I prefer to isolate only if I need to hit a very long specific flake, otherwise isolate it as I go. All right, that's it, guys. It's good to see everybody. And next live stream is Monday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Roy says hi. Hey, you made it at the end of the live stream. I've already gone 15 minutes over. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Yeah, I've got some sweet material I'll be napping. Thanks to Leo. Alrighty, we'll see you later. See you guys later. Okay, good night. Bye-bye.